Good evening and welcome back to A Promise Made. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening in Bend, Oregon. There hasn't been a cloud in the sky all day, and we're not going to bring any to you tonight. Now, for the last month, we've been talking about and concentrating on the promise that was made by Jesus and recorded by John in his letter, paragraphs 10:10. Where Jesus said, I come not just to give you life, but to give it to you so you'd have it in more abundance. Now, he didn't say that you could make $1 million. He just said he wanted you to have life in more abundance, and that was his purpose in coming. Now, this evening, you're going to be able to call in and ask questions. Give us a story if you want. Give us some advice. We'd be happy to receive it. But before I do that, I'm going to ask Dave, if he's available, to tell you how you can get a hold of us this evening. So, Dave?
Okay, to call in this evening, there's two ways to do it. You can call 541-323-2882, 541-323-2882, or Skype to The Promise Made. The Promise Made. And that's all you have to do and be a part of the show.
And then, right after the show is done, this will be uploaded to YouTube, and so you'll be able to see yourself and hear yourself if you call in with a question. And we'll stop, or I'll stop talking anytime you decide to call in. If you don't call in, I won't stop talking, so that's one way to get me to quit. Now, we've been talking about the promise made. Tonight, during the next 25 minutes, I'm going to attempt, and I think I'm going to do a pretty good job of giving you the answer on how to find that life that was promised, so that you're not going to continue if you're there, as most people are. This is a very terrible economy right now. But even when it's not a bad economy, statistics are that 70% of the adult population in the United States really dislike their boss and their job. Okay? So, how can you avoid that? This evening, we're going to take a look, first of all, at number one. I really want to do what? What is it you want to do that you've been thinking about? And you say, well, I don't really know, so I'm going to take some psychological tests. Now, I'm not big on psycho tests. I've seen where too many times they said you were supposed to do this or had a talent for that or whatever. It may have been just a great day for you. You were answering the questions on an area that you really wished you could do, but you can't. But anyway, that being said, not having a lot of confidence in the psychometrics, I think a couple of hours, maybe a whole day, with someone that really cared about you, someone that knew you or was willing to get to know you, maybe a counselor, a coach, a mentor, someone who was spending one-on-one time with you, getting to know you, you would come up with a better idea of just what it is that you might be scheduled for, that you might be good at. Sit down with somebody, a coach even. Someone that can look you in the eyeball and say, okay, Fred, let's take a look at your life. Where have you been? Where are you going? And let's do some thinking. So number one, what is it that you think you really want to do? Number two, and this is also very critical, what is your real passion? Your talent. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, and I'm not going to preach tonight, but I know a couple of verses in the Bible. And one that hits on this What's your talent? I think it was Matthew 25:14 that talks about talents. See, I don't believe that we are here by accident. Everything in the universe is well planned. There's no accidents out there. They can take you from here to the moon, from here to Mars, and they can land you within a second or two of when they said they were going to land you. Because everything is perfect in the universe. The maker of the universe, my God, did not create you or me just to fill up space. He said, I need another body out there. No. You have a purpose. There's a reason why you're here. So what is that talent that was implanted at conception for you to find and to use, hopefully, for the betterment of mankind? Because that's the only type of talent that our master, that our maker would put in you. He would not put a talent to be destructive. That was a choice you would make. He put a great talent there for you to use. But he also gave you free will. You can abuse it. You can misuse it. You can never find it. You could return as the servant returned. And the master said, and I gave you one talent. What did you do with it? And he said, I still got it. I haven't used it. What a waste. What a waste. I don't want to go and report and say I still got it. So, what is it that is your passion? What is your true passion? What do you want to do passionately? Now, you start off your morning. I'm going to take you back to morning now so that you can go, well, all this sounds good, but I'm going to, I don't know if that applies to me. Let me ask you a question. We're going back to 6 o'clock this morning. Whatever hour it is that you wake up. The alarm goes off and you go, oh boy, I get another chance to excel, another chance to use my talent, another chance to benefit mankind, another chance to do well for my family. I am so excited. Or do you do like I did for so many years? I never had an alarm clock, but I owned my own business, so I got there when I got there. But how many people, and I'm sure you haven't done this, but how many people, when they wake up and the alarm goes off, they go, snooze, snooze. And they snooze it until the very last minute, and then they got to rush like a son of a gun to get to work so that they can do something that they really, really dislike. Where are you in that continuum? Do you bounce out of bed going, yippee, I am ready. I got my plans, I got my strategy, I got it all put together last night, and I know where I'm going today. This is going to be fun. I am going to the opportunity office. Is that you, or do you snooze? That'll help you take a look at these two and the other four. How do you greet today? How many people do you know, whether it's children or moms and dads or whatever, that you've known, that when they wake up in the morning, I don't care what happens, they wake up and they're in a bad mood. Don't bother me. I'm brushing my teeth. Or they wake up and they go, hey, good morning, how are you? Give me a hug. Which way do you wake up? The way you greet the day is the way the day is going to treat you. So, what are your, let's look at number 3. What are your true values? What, have you ever written them down? Have you ever said, this is where I stand, this is what I believe in, this is what I care about, this is what I won't compromise on, this is what I would compromise on a little bit? Have you written down your values? Have you ever thought about them? I would say, yeah, I think about my values. When somebody challenges me on a certain thing or they say something, but if they're a lot stronger in their argument than you are, do you capitulate? Do you say, oh, well, whatever? Or do you stand firm? You say, that's your belief, that's your opinion, I respect it, and you're entitled to it. But I disagree. Here's where I stand. Are you willing to listen? No. Okay, not a problem. I'll go find somebody to talk to. That is more pleasant. Thank you very much. So, what are your true values? I've had jobs. I've had them even as an independent contractor, whether it's in real estate or whatever. You're there a day, you might be there a month, you might be there 2 years. I know, I've been there. And you go, I am busting my fanny. I am doing really great for this company. And the boss has got the ethics of, I won't even say. And you're doing everything by the book, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And the boss is looking for every way they can possibly use to skin somebody of another buck. And you just really dislike what's going on. What do? Do you continue with that job no matter what? What are your values? You say, I'm sorry. I have to leave because this is not, I'm not going to mention the profession. I better not even go there with the city. I was going to mention, sometimes people, let me see, make it real. This gentleman had a philosophy about a certain public official that he thought was really great, and felt that the public official was really right on. I mean, he believed everything this individual believed. They came from the same town. And I'm sorry, but I let my feelings get involved. And this was a gentleman that most people wouldn't disagree with, and it shocked him when I did. I said, well, sometimes if you spend too much time camping out around the garbage dump, when you walk away, you're going to still smell like garbage. I mean, you are who you associate with, whether it's a city or a person or a group of people. So, what are your values? I was in a business one time, many years ago, and a similar type of thing was going on, where I had a conflict with my values, and then I took a look and I said, And I needed the money. I needed the money. And it's amazing. I know, I've been there. How many people will sacrifice their values, their core values? I did. Because they get trapped. They get trapped. They say, but I need the money. I don't like the values of the people that I'm working with. I don't like the game that I'm being forced to play. But I need the money. That's one way. And another thing you might take a look at, if it's a game that you may have been good, how many of us know athletes that were really great in basketball, for instance, and they decided since they were really great in basketball, they would try baseball, and they would be really great in baseball. How many of them did not show up to be great at a different game? So be sure it's a game that you want to play. Be sure it's a game that you can play in. I had a friend who was in real estate for a long time. Talking about games. It's not a game, it's a very serious profession, and some people are very, very professional and very dedicated to it. He was not doing very well, so he thought, I'll go interview with a car dealership. People are always buying cars. I'll go interview with a car dealership. He came back and he told me, he said, you know, Bob, they wouldn't even interview me. I said, what? You couldn't get an interview? He said, no. Because I was coming from the game of real estate where we got large commissions in one chunk, and in automobile sales, you got $100 here and $200 there and $300 there, and you shared with this person, shared with that person. They wouldn't even interview them. It was a different game. You played by different rules. And I'm not knocking one or the other. They're both very, very needed, very respectable occupations. So, is this the game that you want to be involved in? A tough one. A tough one. Are you in control of the little voice, your subconscious? If you're not in control of your subconscious, now you probably don't know exactly what I mean. Some of you do. I've been there, I've done it. You haven't been any place I haven't been. Whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, relationship-wise, I've been down and I've been up and I've been down and I've been up. And I've been down because of the little voice a lot. And the little voice in your head is really what controls your life. It's the one that was given to you by other people. It was your self-concept that you were given by other people. By the time you were 6 years old, you knew who you were. You were either highly respected, well-loved, energetic. You had gotten all kinds of hugs and kisses and told how great you were. And you could probably do anything that you put your mind to. And you got a lot of pats on the back, told how marvelous that painting was when you were 4 and 5. You know you weren't all like that. But it was great. You were told you were great. Or were you like so many? that grew up, and by 6, they knew that they really weren't worth a diddly. Statistics, I don't know who comes up with these statistics, social scientists, psychologists, whatever, have estimated that by the time a child reaches age 18, they have heard no 180,000 times. Think of your life, maybe think of how you're reacting to your children. How did your life go? Did you get, as a youngster, were you getting a lot of no's and very few attaboys? Also, the statistics are that by the time someone reaches age 18, now remember 180,000 no's, that same child is lucky to have heard, fantastic, good job, you're a winner, 57 times. If at all. If at all. I know. I lived it. That's the little voice in your head that controls most of your life. When you think about doing something, maybe it's at your current job, you could love it. You could really excel at it. You could be happy there. But your little voice is saying, what's the use? No matter how hard you try, nobody will ever say good job. Hey Johnny, if you keep it up, you just put a little bit more effort. A little bit more. Reminds me, today I got an email from a lady that I had only met twice, but we had a business communication today. And at the bottom of her email, it had her name, address, phone number, all this kind of thing. And it said, only a little bit more. Vice President of Training and Education. And I emailed her right away and I said, is it only a little bit more? Is this the name of a company or what? And please explain this to me. And she wrote back and she said, no, Bob, that's just me. That's my saying that I've always lived by. Just a little bit more. How many of us, with our families, with our occupations, with our professions, with our prayer time, what if we had that same attitude, just a little bit more? What would happen to our life? What would happen to us physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationship-wise, if we just live by that woman's personal philosophy, just a little bit more? I loved it. And I wrote back to her and I told her. And as you can tell, it impressed me. It's with me. And it made me today do a little bit more. It'll always stick with me. And I think that's one of those sayings that you can't get out of your head. When you wake up in the morning, you go, I'm going to give it just a little bit more. I love it. But that's replace what has been plugged into your head for all those years. If you've got a problem with it, not saying you do, if you've got a problem with self-esteem, self-worth, self-image, what would happen if you just did a little bit more? Finally, what's really holding you back from being all you can be? What's really holding you back? It might even be a who. Somebody in your life may be saying, you can't really do that. Part of the little voice. You've never been good at that. You don't really have the expertise to do that. I've been there. I'm the kind that takes a challenge. I wanted to learn how to play a musical instrument. But I don't have any talent for musical instrument. I don't have a song in my heart. I tried playing the guitar, but really with the guitar, you better have a song in your heart, because if I don't have notes to follow, I mean, Old MacDonald's Farm, maybe I come up with that, but that's about it. Or Home on the Range. I don't have any songs in my heart. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try the hardest instrument that there is, and that's the violin. And I always wanted to be able to read notes. But I got a crippled left hand. Got numb fingers and a crippled thumb. And the teacher, very, very highly qualified, says, why are you going to learn how to, or try to do the violin? It's the fiddle. It's the hardest instrument possible. I said, just because I am going to overcome. It was about overcoming. And I went to violin lessons religiously for 1.5 years. I learned how to play notes. Now, I still didn't have a song in my heart. If I wasn't just playing notes, I mean, you could tell when I was doing that there really wasn't any song in my heart. I was playing notes. But she kept saying, why are you doing this? I said, because psychologically I have to. Just to prove to myself that I can overcome. Don't let yourself hold you back. If it's another, she didn't hold me back, and I wasn't going to let her hold me back. I ended up getting transferred to a different area, so I had to quit. Didn't have to quit, I did. The violin, could have picked up another instructor, I didn't. But she wasn't going to hold me back, and she didn't. She stayed with me. And people will stay with you. But is there somebody in your life that's holding you back, giving you bad vibes, giving you bad thinking? Take them out of your life. I don't mean shoot them. I mean, just don't associate. Don't go to coffee with them. Don't go to the water cooler. If the water cooler's negative, don't go there. What is holding you back? Is it the little voice? More than likely. You say, I grew up poor, struggle, survival. My parents told me that rich people were crooks. They even quoted scripture wrongly. I always get a kick out of when they say, yeah, remember the scripture, I'm going to get this one wrong, where it said that it's easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than it is for a rich man to get to heaven. Something like that. Yeah, it didn't mean that rich men couldn't go to heaven. It was referring to the specific instance where Jesus asked a man to get rid, he says, can I join you? And Jesus said, yeah, get rid of all your wealth and come with me. Well, now, that would have been stupid for that guy to do it. He didn't know Jesus from Adam. He was going to have to go on faith. And he had just met Jesus, so he didn't have any faith. So he thought, I'm going to hang on to what I know, which is my money and my wealth. This guy just wants me to give it all away and be poor. So you can take what people say, misconstrue it, and use it as an excuse. There are no answers for excuses. One is as good as the next. But if you've got a reason, you can overcome it. So, what's really holding you back? Take a look at it. In summary, the answers are probably somewhere in this list of 6. It may be 1 or 2, it may be all 6. Take a look. Take a look, evaluate for yourself. You can change your course if you decide. Again, from Dave and I here at Ephesians Vision Ministry, from the Promise Made, we say thank you for joining us this evening, and may God bless, and you have a prosperous week.